All right, guys, welcome back to the Daniel Federico Show. That's Nick Tazio, and I'm Daniel Federico. Today, we're going to be talking about Champions League quarterfinals. Leg one just wrapped up. It was a bad leg for my Liverpool team, but it was also great to see some great matchups in Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona down 2-0. Going into the second leg, we're going to talk about that. The Toronto Blue Jays finally snapped their six-game losing streak. And we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys as the draft is slowly approaching, or I should say fastly approaching. And if we have time, we have some United Football League chatter. And if we have time after that, we have one more new startup league we're going to chat about because the Daniel Federico Show is all about sports around the world and all the time. We just love football. So football, 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 sports, sports, sports. This is the Daniel Federico Show, so let's get it going. All right, first game we're going to start with in the Champions League. It's probably the most boring game of the quarters. Still a good ball game. Arsenal beating Sporting CP 1-0. Nick, you watched this game, or you kind of, well, obviously, you probably
I had an
didn't.
eye on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You got your eye on it a little bit. I was working during it, but I was also trying to keep up with it. But it's really hard to keep up with a 1-0 game as right when Arsenal scored that goal, parking the bus is probably the best thing they've done or they do. And now the second leg is going to be another type of parking the bus style game from Arsenal. But what do you think about this game?
Um, well, basically, if you want the short story of this game,
I would
it
love the short
was
story or the fast story. You got the floor.
well, ba- so this game sucked. Like this game was really boring to watch. Thank God that the Madrid Bayern Munich game was on at the same time, which we'll get into later. Just a way better game. But I kept an eye on this game just to see, obviously, because Arsenal, they're dealing with this droughtless this titleless drought that they've had for 20 years. And of course, they just lost the League Cup final 4-0 to Man City. The eyes, they're as of right now, they are set to win the Premier League. I do think they're going to win the Premier League, which they haven't done in a very long time. But the big trophy, the cream of the crop, is obviously the Champions League. So Arsenal being in the quarterfinal stage, it's an intriguing prospect to watch. So what is the one thing that we know about Arsenal? Well, they're boring. They're boring, and I think that's a wider representation of the Premier League itself because it's kind of stagnated a little bit. It's become a lot more about possession, and we can talk about Pep because Pep is the one who basically brought this in. But Arsenal in this game, they controlled everything. Sporting had a 17 game unbeaten run at home in Lisbon up to this point, and Arsenal, they were controlling things obviously through the midfield because that's what they do. They had good possession, but time and time again there were good runs that players were making through on goal that the ball carriers for Arsenal were just missing. And through those missed chances, time went on, and then earlier on in the game there was a goal that was disallowed from Arsenal, and that was because Gyökeres was offside on the goal, and Zubamendi was the one who put it in the back of the net. Obviously, the 1-0 came later on in stoppage time. Beautiful goal,
Yeah, the
actually.
92nd minute goal.
Beautiful goal. Kai Havertz with the goal. Awesome pass from Gabriel Martinelli over the top of the defense. Just put it right over the back line. Havertz first touch, slots it in. But to wrap it up, David Araya is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I don't know why Spain is still starting Unai Simon because he looks to be the starter going into the World Cup, and they have two top quality goalkeepers waiting in the wings with Garcia, who plays for Barcelona, and then Raya for Arsenal. I don't know if you saw earlier on in the game, Daniel, but Raya made an unbelievable save. And in real time, it looked like it hit the woodwork. But as the replay came
Yeah,
on,
right off the fingertips.
he got his fingertips on, I forget who shot the ball. It's going to kill me now. I think it was Araujo. Maximiliano Araujo was the
He, he
one.
made he made he made a total of I think it was 5 saves, but
Five saves.
three clear saves, three big saves from the Sporting CP players.
I just think like the Arsenal, they're gonna win the tie in my opinion because they're
Yeah,
going back to the Emirates, or and it's the one thing that does cause concern is the one goal difference. Sporting, they got some talent. They may not be like Gonzalo and or Inacio, great player, Araujo, amazing. These guys can score, and especially with the way Arsenal have looked in terms of somewhat shakiness. Like I feel like they do quite a bit of ball watching on defense. A lot of the ways they score goals is through set pieces. They don't really generate anything through open plays. So if they're going to win emphatically next game and then impose fear on the rest of the candidates in the tournament, which they should, because on paper they are the best team left, they need creativity. And how do they get creativity? Well, the same way they did. Arteta made two great subs. He brought on Martinelli and Havertz, the two guys who scored the goal.
yeah, they
I
link up for the goal,
Max
and they
Allen
also brought in Downman too a
Allen
couple
needs
minutes
to get on
after.
earlier in the next game.
Yeah,
And it would be great if they had Odegaard, but they're lacking creativity. That's why they look so boring because
but
they're not creative whatsoever.
and you know what I think about that? I think it's just the style of play, but it's working. It worked. They're
It is.
undefeated in the Champions League. They've been great in the Champions League with their style of play. I know it's very boring, but they play the exact same way in the Premier League. But you know who just figured that out? Man City just figured their style of play out, dominating them in the FA Cup. Or was it a League Cup? I think it was FA
It
actually.
was the League Cup.
Yeah, it was Carabao
Yeah.
Cup. Yeah, it was the Carabao. Um, Figured out. I know it wasn't the normal starting 11 that you see on a weekly basis, but also with Arsenal, like, I think yes, they've been playing boring football, but we got to give it to their bench. Their bench is deep. They have
It's
depth.
yeah.
It's one of the deeper teams in England, and it's one of the deeper teams in the world. Like just subbing on Martinelli and Havertz, and they go and link up for the game-winning goal in the 90th
Mhm.
plus minute. That's a well done by Arsenal and their staff, but also they've played this boring soccer all year, boring football all year, but it works. So now you're going to see them park the bus for a full 90 minutes
Yeah.
or so next leg, and now it's in Arsenal. So yeah, they play a boring style, but it works. And you know
It's
what?
just
They're trying to break
yeah.
that drought of being trophyless for how long have they been trophyless now? For
I think since '06,
so 20 years.
the Invincibles, the
Yes. So
no,
coming up on 20 years.
yeah, no, the Invincibles was '04, I believe.
So yeah, it's 20 plus years, maybe. I
Yeah.
want to say it's for sure 15 plus years being trophyless. They trying to break that curse right now. We're trying to break that streak right now. And if you play whatever type of football you want to play. Yes, to a fan it is boring, but they're out here not to please the fans. They're out here to please themselves with the performance. But yeah, they do not generate chances. It's more, how can we keep the ball for 90 minutes? How can we
That's
contain
yeah.
possession? We're gonna play it through the back a lot, and that's what Arsenal does.
Just scares me. Like one final note that I have on this game, because like literally there's not much else to talk about. This was like almost 87 plus minutes of nothing until a goal. But it just scares me because I do think they're going to go through against Sporting, but it does scare me given the fact that so if Atletico wins, say Atletico wins the tie against Barcelona, because that's who they would play, I believe, in the next round. Arsenal, I do think, would be favored against Atletico because Atletico is kind of the same as Arsenal. Like Simeone, we know him to play that park the bus style of like intense, aggressive defense, and then opportunities they come their way and then they capitalize. But the rest of the four teams on the other side of the bracket, Liverpool, PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, I think save for Liverpool, and I don't mean to say that because I do like Liverpool, it scares the crap out of me to think of a stagnant Arsenal team going up against either of those three, Madrid, Bayern Munich, or PSG, with how open and create like a PSG with the like we're gonna get into them too, but like it just scares me. It just does because I don't think Arsenal, they haven't met their match. They obviously beat Bayern early on in the group stage or in the league stage of this competition, but man, like the other side of the bracket has some of the best, obviously, clubs in Europe, but they're
Creative
playing some of
teams
the
on the
most
other side
informed
for sure.
soccer.
Yeah, yeah, Arsenal's gonna have a tough match, but they're gonna have to, I think they do a good job though at adapting to who they play.
Yeah, I agree.
Like Sporting, they knew that they could get away with, just keeping the ball to their feet, keeping the ball away from Sporting, literally playing just keep away.
Yeah.
Uh, I know, and I think they're gonna know that they're not gonna be able to do that against Bayern Munich or whoever they play after Bayern Munich if they get past Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, whoever ends up winning the second time. So they know they can't do that. So I'm gonna see. They're gonna adapt to who they're playing. Um, like 'cause at one point in this tournament, in this Champions League season, they're gonna have to switch their style of play to create chances. And if they don't do that, then they're not gonna advance at post this round because I do think they're gonna beat Sporting. I do not see Sporting having a chance because Arsenal's probably gonna have 80% of the possession at home next week. And then they're going to go and play either Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. All right. You know what's going to happen there. If Arsenal does not create chances often and but they can play strong defense. Like this is where I really can't tell with a team like Arsenal. But they are going to have to switch their style of play and probably be a lot more aggressive and try to score as many goals as possible.
Yeah, I don't think I think everyone, like including myself, is in the same boat. Like a lot of people can't tell with Arsenal, which is why there's a lot of speculation and then hesitancy in the wider media of like these top leading football analysts to pick Arsenal definitively going forward as the winners of the Premier League. And then, certainly the Champions League is a far off prospect.
Yeah, but let's move on to the next game. Arsenal, Sporting going into the second leg up. Arsenal go up 1-0. But let's go to probably I'd like to say the most entertaining game of the first legs between all the matchups. Real Madrid losing to Bayern Munich 2-1. A terrific game right from the start. Fast-paced, physical. It's just what you like to see. Because, after watching the Arsenal game, I know they were on at the same time, but the drastic change of just style of play between these guys were tremendous. Loved what Bayern Munich did. They looked tremendous right up, going up 2-0 early. And I love Diaz. I'm a sucker for Luis Diaz.
Oh man.
I'm a sucker for him, and he scores in the 41st minute. And then I think what it was 35 seconds into the second half, Harry Kane scores to go up 2-0. And then for the most part, I thought Real Madrid was out for the count just because for most of the first half, it was Bayern was attacking. And in the second half, Bayern Munich, how fast they scored. And then, Mbappe finally slotted one in with a pass from Trent Alexander-Arnold. And Trent Alexander-Arnold looked terrific this game for the first time in a while.
I disagree.
And I wish we saw it a lot more last year in Liverpool. But he looked good. He looked good. Also, Mbappe scoring, finally breaking a little goalless streak that he had going on. What do you think about this game? I think we're going to be in for a entertaining second leg. And I honestly can't. I think Bayern Munich's going to win. I really like their style of play a lot more than Real Madrid's. But you officially can't count out Real Madrid. Obviously, their star power. Their star power. They could strike at any time, and they could change the style of play any moment of the game that they want. But going into Bayern Munich next leg, that's why I think Munich's going to win.
I'm with you. I think Munich is going to win. But you're also 10,000% right with what you said at the end, Daniel. is the one team, and I would make this argument in terms of global sports, so not just European North global sports. They're the one team in which you cannot count out. Like, they've won 15 of these things. Obviously, do you remember 2022 with that big comeback against Manchester City in the Bernabeu? Rodrigo, the hero of the moment. They're the comeback kings of the Champions League, and they've been doing it for
They own this competition. It's safe to say Real Madrid owns this competition of Champions League. They own it. It's theirs, and it's gonna be theirs forever. But I do think going to Munich down 1 goal is gonna be tough. It's a challenge.
I don't think they're going to win in Munich either. I think. So, funny thing about this tie is it's known as, like, you know how we have El Clasico?
Yeah.
This is the European Clasico. This has been the most played tie in European Cup / Champions League history. These two teams have met 29 times. Madrid have won 15 times. And I believe Bayern Munich has won 12, or it could be 14 and 12. But regardless, these two, and then there's a couple of draws.
Yeah, of course.
Well.
Yeah.
So that's why the math was not adding up. When I said, I saw your face, I'm like, and then he's like,
I was trying to think, I was trying to count, and I was like, oh, and then the draws, I go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I got it written down here. I just want to find it just so I can say definitively. Madrid's won 13 times, Bayern's won 12 times, and there's been 4 draws in this tie. Bayern have not won a knockout series against Madrid since like 2012, and then the win that they had a couple of days ago in the Bernabeu was their first in like 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So the difference between these two teams in their current iterations, though, in my opinion, is that as talented as they both are, because you can make an argument these are the two most talented teams, obviously with Arsenal as well on paper in all of Europe, Bayern is much more structured organizationally well than Madrid is. And Madrid's obviously gone through a lot of turmoil, like Xabi Alonso. He started the season out, did not last very long at all. Very controversial way he left. Perez, Perotz, Arbeloa, mixed results. He has the team somewhat informed, but they also are coming off a 2-1 loss against Mallorca, which is not good for the La Liga standings. But Bayern Munich, like I said, are so much more disciplined and structurally sound than Madrid is.
And it feels like they play a lot more physical game. I think maybe it was just the official. Well, actually, at times the official was letting things go.
I think
But then he was calling some easy stuff, and I was like, okay, I don't know how this guy's going to call it.
I think in this game, the X factor, like the reason why Bayern beat Madrid on paper was because of the way Olise and then Diaz were cooking Madrid's fullbacks.
Yep.
So
no,
the
100%.
defenders, Alvaro Carreras got cooked by Michael Olise, and even though he didn't register a goal,
And I also, on that point too, I also liked how Kane played alone up.
Kane, yeah, and what he does so well too, which I like to that point, is he also drops deep. And then he will play as the creative role to players that are making.
It feels like they're playing through him. They're playing through him.
Yes, they're playing through him, but also when they give him the ball, like this guy's the best striker in Europe. He's 49 goals now in all competitions. And then that goal he scored, interestingly enough, Daniel, in all the games that he's played in the Champions League, that is his first goal that he scored outside the box in this competition.
Holy crap, I didn't even know. That's crazy.
That's insane. And we just know Harry Kane for being, like, he is the ultimate bagsman. I think he will go down in this generation of, I would say, the 2020s at least. He's going to be known as the best striker. Controversial. I'm taking Kane over Benzema, Lewandowski, like all of these guys in their prime. I'm taking Harry Kane. And Bayern Munich, here's the thing too. I say all that about Harry Kane. Guess what, guys? He's not even their most important player. That's Michael Olise.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Michael.
Where did he play? Where did he play in this formation? Did he play on the right?
Right wing.
Yeah.
Right wing. And I'm going to say something that might erupt the fan base, Daniel. Right now, he's the best right winger in the world. Not Lamine Yamal.
I love this. I'm gonna clip this, put it on the socials. Let's get a.
That's my hot take right now.
Let's hear it.
The difference between the two of them is this: Lamine Yamal, we know him for his natural ability. He has flair. He can dribble all around defense. He can make them look silly, and he is like more than half of some of these guys' age. Generational talent in its fullest. Like He reminds us of some of the best dribblers to have ever played the game, and he hasn't even reached his 20s yet. But the reason why I say this, and I love Lamine Yamal, and I think that this point that I'm making, I'm saying it as of right now, the day of this recording, with April 9th, Thursday, April 9th. So April 10th.
Thursday,
Now,
April 9th,
on
8:01 p.m.
these couple days stretch post Bayern Munich winning and Barcelona losing, and then even the couple of weeks before this as well, I'll say, Michael Olise is the best right winger in soccer or football. He's calculated. He's strategic with each one of his movements. He is smooth as all hell. We don't even have to talk about that. We already knew that from when he was playing at Palace and balling out in the Prem. But he makes this Bayern team better than what it already was before he came there, which was arguably the best team in world football already.
He set up Harry Kane's goal.
He's setting up Harry Kane's goal. We know that look, this guy reminds you of Arjen Robben. On the right, cutting right in, and then boom, with his left foot, he can curl a shot into
very versatile player, very versatile, athletic.
To boil down my take to this, Lamine Yamal needs to get a bit more structure underneath his game. I'm not going to say he's erratic, because he is most certainly not erratic, but he's not as smooth and fluid and assured in his movements as I would say Michael Olise. He's still a bit wild in his dribbling, and there's nothing wrong with that. These could be the precursors to like what may still come, which could be the best dribbler that we ever see. In this iteration right now, Michael Olise, passing, shooting, creating, off-ball play.
All aspects of the game.
All aspects. He's the best right winger in world football. And I'm willing to defend that tooth and nail.
I absolutely love that. I don't think I can disagree with you there. You have a great point to cover right there. And so if anybody really wants to actually argue that, you're kind of gonna have to go with this guy, because he'll defend it at any moment, any chance, any day. DM him.
I'll defend it. I'm willing to listen to arguments, obviously, because I love to debate about this stuff.
Yeah,
and this is not me discounting Lamine Yamal, because I think they are neck and neck. I just think,
just being in that conversation, Yamal is what, 18 years old?
I think he's 18, but I think
he's 18. Just being neck and neck with Olise, doing something right there as an 18-year-old, and he's tremendous still. Like, both players are tremendous.
I think a lot will be told at the end of this competition, but also with the World Cup coming up.
Who would you say right now? Because I know we still have the World Cup.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the Ballon d'Or right now? If you have to say in April, I know it's early April, because we have a long time.
Okay, so
because you're still like, as of right now, pre-World Cup. So I don't want you to predict anything. If the league stopped right now, if every competition stopped right now, and the World Cup didn't happen this year, and the season is done April 9th, this is coming out April 10th, who is your Ballon d'Or favorite?
So I think the three guys that are being floated around, and my guys in here, that are being floated around, which are all great picks, are Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe, and Lamine Yamal. I think those three have been and Olise as well. But the Ballon d'Or is a popularity award here. So it is. I really don't think that it's a true judging award. Let's say this.
I think if it was a true, based on stats and style of play and everything award, who would you say would be the winner?
I think Harry Kane right now.
Yeah.
Harry Kane.
I think he's gonna win it, even though it is a popularity contest. I think he's gonna win it also. I just think this season that he's having and the team success around it, it's gonna be hard to not give it to him. But let's see what happens with the months now, with the months coming on now. Like, I know it's still a long time to come, but as of right now in April, I can see him taking it for sure, taking that crowd.
Yeah, and I think like Yamal's indispensable to Barcelona, but do you know who else is who you could say could be even more dispensable given the way they play to Barcelona is? Rafinha.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Rafinha's playing is having a terrific calendar year, but he's been terrific for the past 2 or 3 years now.
2 or 3 years, yeah. There's definitely an argument to be made that he should have won the Ballon d'Or last year. Dembele won it, and Dembele again, one of the best players in the world this year, but. Yeah,
saw a lot of them.
I think Bayern's going to win the tie. I think Bayern's going to win the
Yeah,
tie.
overall, I think Bayern Munich's going to win. It's going back to Munich. I think it's honestly, I think all eyes should be on that matchup next week.
Yeah.
What day do they play? Because I know it's Tuesday, Wednesday next week. They play on Wednesday, April 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. All eyes should be on that matchup, that second leg, that quarterfinal second leg over Arsenal and Sporting CP because everyone knows what's going to happen in that second leg. It's going to be Arsenal parking the bus for 90 minutes while we have Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, two big top dogs of Europe, going at it. And you can totally say it's not going to end 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes all the way to penalty kicks. But I think because it's in Munich, I think Munich is going to have the upper hand. Obviously, if they have the upper hand, they're going to win this. They're going to win this time. But that's going to be terrific. That's just going to be terrific. But let's move on to Wednesday's matchups. We're going to start with not Real Madrid. Oh my God, I wish. PSG versus Liverpool. Liverpool losing 2-0. I'm a Liverpool fan, so let's talk about this a little bit, okay?
Tell us your thoughts, Daniel.
This season, every time I turn on a Liverpool game, I just want to roll up in a ball and just cry. Cry when I watch Liverpool touch the field. Their style of play is terrible. They don't play as a team. They play as an individual. Like they play like it's like a one-man show over there. Slot ball is weak. We know it's weak. And I defend Slot, but each game, it's getting harder and harder and harder to defend Slot ball. It sucks. It sucks this year. And he's driving away club legends like Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson, and now it seems that he's leaving today. Sad to see, but it hasn't happened. It had to happen at some time. It's a new era of Liverpool. I just can't wait for this terrible season just to end so I could just, I don't know, watch the beautiful game in peace because this Liverpool season has been terrible. I think they only have around like 8 more games left in all competitions because they just got embarrassed by Man City 4-0 in the FA Cup. Yikes. Woo! And then now losing 2-0 to PSG. I do think at times, though, Liverpool started to show up a little bit, but it was really late because that beautiful opening goal from Dewey. That was beautiful right there. They go up 1-0 early on in the 11th minute. But also the officiating, I think, was very, very soft at times. I mean, McAllister was gonna cry. I feel like he was gonna cry or punch the ref in the throat. How many missed calls he had. But overall, Liverpool did not look the greatest. Like they play so sloppy. They played very sloppy against a very composed Paris Saint-Germain team. And when you're playing, it's two teams playing two different styles right here. Liverpool's trying to figure out who they are. All year they've been trying to figure out who they are, and they still can't figure out who they are as a team. They have no identity, it feels like. Even though I think their identity is to play through Etiqueta, but nope, they don't want to do that. They really invested a lot of money in Isak, and they really want to bring him back on time. But it's going to Anfield. Next week, not excited. I'm so nervous. I don't know how many times Liverpool can lose or draw at home in a season for me just to not. I don't know. Like I think I'm like a couple losses away, or maybe at least one more embarrassing loss away from throwing my phone to my TV through my television because the style of play Liverpool has played this year has been the most frustrating as a supporter. But overall, as a guy that likes to talk ball, it's gonna be a very busy summer transfer for Liverpool. And it's much needed. But I do think like they have so many terrific players on paper that I think this is gonna be like a 1-year wonder of them not being the greatest, and then next year they're back to being top dogs. But let's see what they can do in the second leg. Dembele had multiple chances to end this game off and literally put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he missed two chances. It could have easily been a 4-0 draw or a 4-0 finish for PSG. but it ultimately ended 2-0. Um, but yeah, like I don't know what the lineup's gonna look like next week for Liverpool, but PSG, I think they just keep everything the same. Like Liverpool really didn't have many answers. They got lucky, I like to say. They got pretty lucky that it wasn't like 5-0, 4-0, or at least minimum 3-0. Like they're lucky that it was a 2-0 finish and they just survived in Paris.
It should have been 4-0. And I think the difference between this and the Bayern game, where Bayern probably could have scored a few extra as well, is it almost felt like with Bayern, they they almost wanted to keep the score low, knowing that they were going back home where they would have the
Right? Like that, no, that's what it felt like too. That's what it felt like for Bayern, yeah.
it felt like structured. It felt like this was the way it was supposed to be, and they're confident going back to Munich at the Allianz Arena next week. With PSG, it felt a little bit more disorganized, and it felt like they left a little bit to be desired. Um, Both of the goals were simply fantastic. The first goal, I believe, the thing that kind of takes it away from me, the Doué goal, was that it was tipped by Gravenberch. I think Gravenberch caught a little piece of it, but the Kvaratskhelia goal was just. He is one of my favorite players in world soccer. Like he is just, and he's one of the best players objectively in world soccer. I think any big name European club would absolutely take him with open arms if they could. Um, we saw what he did at Napoli with Victor Osimhen back before he came to
Yeah.
PSG. Last year, comes to PSG, becomes one of the driving forces behind their very first Champions League trophy. And then this year, they look to be one of the favorites going back to go back and win the whole thing again. And a lot of it has to do with him and the danger he brings on the wing. Um, I think with Liverpool, their fullbacks, kind of like Madrid's, just stood no chance against PSG's wingers, but also their wing backs like Nuno Mendes and Achraf Hakimi, because those guys are fast and they're really fast coming from the back line, and they oftentimes play deep into the like final third, trying to get things going on an offensive possession. And Liverpool just couldn't hang with them. There's obviously something has got to change. Like Slot played a back three, but the two center backs, like Van Dijk, the form is gone. Kanate, I don't even want to talk about that. But something to Daniel,
Konate, like I like Konate.
I think Kanate's inconsistent.
Yes, he's inconsistent, but like man, like when he plays consistent, like you gotta, my point of view here, like it's totally different with all the Europeans and I call the soccer people like this. What I like to see is I like to look at the consistency. If you have a lot more consistent than inconsistent, because obviously I think there's a lot more games he plays terrific in than he doesn't. Because when he plays bad, he plays like bottom, like you're the worst, like you're the
That's what I'm
worst.
saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. But like when he's playing at a high level, he's playing at a high level.
yeah,
Van Dyke, on the other hand,
old.
yeah, like
He's older.
club legend,
But
Virgil van Dijk, club legend, but he's just lost it. And I think but it's with everybody. You can call it everybody on this team. Where is Wirtz? He plays for his national team like he's the greatest footballer on earth. Then he comes to Liverpool, puts a jersey on, he sucks.
I don't know what
Who
it
else?
is.
Kirkes. Oh, where's Tate?
Your backup goalkeeper, Mamardashvili, was awesome.
He was very good. He made
You're,
a lot
you're
of terrific
awesome.
saves, big saves. It could have easily been like again, it could have easily been 4-0. But with the
Yeah.
saves that he made, it could have easily Liverpool could have easily lost this game 7-0.
I agree. I think PSG, like earlier on, they were winning the possession battle, and then
They
Doué
were
scored so early on.
dominating.
They were
They
dominating,
dominated.
and then
But like the 35th minute, it's kind of like Liverpool kind of started to swing some momentum, but then it went into half, and then coming out of half, it
yeah,
was all PSG again.
they couldn't get anything solid to Ekitike up front, and he's been so reliable for you guys this year.
He's been Liverpool's best player. But
I I
when a
think
team has 18 chances and only 6 make it on goal, 3 in the back, just don't do that. I think you got to go a lot more defensive how weak the team is, and you have to play through Etiquette. But I do think now next week, because they're slowly getting um, Isak in the farm, you're going to see both of them up top. Like something's going to happen. I think you can, because I think that's honestly, like on paper, that's probably going to be the best when you have Etiquette, Isak both up top together.
Mhm.
I don't know what they're going to do with Salah. It's his farewell season. I think how like I with a season like this, it's such a wipe, but you're also trying to be in Champions League contention next year.
Mhm.
And also, I was hearing reportedly that England is getting a fifth Champions League spot.
Yeah.
Liverpool's in that fifth spot right now. They're trying to keep it so they're gonna have to play competitive soccer all year. And that with a bad season like that, that's what I kind of like. Like like there's still some games to be played with, but again, sorry to bring it back to this game, but when you only have 26% of the possession and you got dominated, Gomez looks lost out there. Virgil looks slow. He looks like he's a couple steps behind. Conte played a very bad game, but I honestly don't think like blow it up. No, I think Virgil stays for another year. Conte stays for another year. Gomez, you could do whatever you want with him. I like him at some times, but what I would like to see for Liverpool is find a way to get, you know, Etiquette, Isak, Wirtz, Kirkez going. Your new players going. Like the guys that you signed literally last summer going. Because for the rest of the season, if they can't establish any momentum together on the exact same field, next season is going to be a lot worse than it is this season, in my opinion. Especially with a leader like Salah leaving. He's been dragged through the roof or dragged through the mud the last 2 years with Slot. About to
I think,
obviously good for him leaving such a bad situation because he had a beautiful situation with Klopp. Slot
yeah.
comes in. It feels like they were enemies. They were butting heads from day one. And now I know Salah's not playing good. Like obviously he had to be on the bench. He has not been playing good this season.
Yeah.
Missing a lot of penalties. Like you can't even trust him to take penalties right now. But if this was 2 years ago, he was potting all of those. Even creating chances. He's not creating chances this season. It's just not his season, so he's going. I understand why he's going. He's a club legend, always going to be a club legend. But for those new players, they all have to be on the exact same field at the exact same time, playing all consistent minutes, and they all have to start establishing momentum together. Because now you're looking at your eyes are going to next season. And next August, or this August, your season's going to this August now to start momentum up. But if you can't establish that, next season's going to be another tough tell.
I think, given the fact that you just brought up next season, I think you guys should make the onus on securing Champions League football for next year instead of trying to, because I don't think you're going to beat PSG anyhow.
No.
But
No.
and I
And
don't think
honestly,
you guys are going
I
to.
think PSG is going to score probably 2 or 3 more goals next. It's going to be 5-0, 4-0 final.
And nothing that happened last week is going to change in 1 week with PSG coming. And everyone says, "Oh, the remontada with Barcelona, Liverpool is known for having." It's not going to happen. But the thing is, like, given that you guys might be getting the fifth extra spot in the Prem, and you
Lucky.
guys aren't going to win the Prem this year, full force everything on securing Champions League football for next
Yeah.
year because you guys are going to have to replace Salah. You guys are definitely going to be big spenders in the summer. And I know there is not really too much of a hope for this, especially if they go on to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
But there are loose rumors being floated around that Liverpool could be, well, they're definitely interested in, but they could try to work something out to bring in Michael Olise.
See, I hear all these rumors, but now I'll ask to go with the speculation uh, surrounding Slot. I know there are a lot of people say I don't believe anything with because a lot of European journalists, or not even journalists, I don't even know if they're journalists, but a lot of people per sources, and when they say this, I don't believe them unless I think it's Fabio.
Oh, Fabrizio
Yo,
Romano.
Fabrizio. I only believe the only person I believe in this world is him. Word from him or word from the actual players. But I know there's a lot of speculation surrounding is Slot out at the end of the season. I personally think they would have already done it. They're not going to do it. I actually hope he does stay because I think like when a manager has this much talent on a roster and obviously it's not successful, got to give him one more chance at it. Just give him one more chance at it. It's his team, fully his team. He knows the style of play he wants. You still got to shake out some of the old players, but it's okay. Frimpong, I think he's terrific at times. I think he's a little too fast with the ball at times, but we got to move on because we have so many other topics to talk about. So let's quickly talk about Atletico and Barcelona. I know we spent so much time on Liverpool, but we do have other topics to talk about. But we're going to slowly talk about it. I want to give you the floor. I want to give you a full 2 minutes. Talk about
Yep.
Atletico, Barcelona. Barcelona down to 10 men in this game.
Mhm.
What do you think about this game? Atletico beating Barcelona 2-0.
I think Atletico took advantage of the opportunities that were presented to them, like the red card to Kubarsi, and that was obviously the beautiful free kick from Julian Alvarez. Absolutely banged it past Garcia, who is one of the more informed goalkeepers in world football right now. But I think Atletico played extremely well. Obviously, Ruggieri had the other assist over the top to Alexander Sorloth with a beautiful goal off the left foot, I think, as well. But Barcelona got themselves into a bit of a rut here because not only is the game going back to the Metropolitano in Madrid, where they lost a 4-0 game in the Copa del Rey not too long ago, but they're also going to go there without Pau Kubarsi, who's the player who got the red card. He's young, but he is one of the more promising defenders. And when he played, he's very integral to this Barcelona defense, which already is not good at all. Like, Hansi Flick does not play. He is not shy about it either. He plays a high line of pressing and he makes the onus on offense, which is why you oftentimes see so many wondrous goals and highlights coming from this Barcelona side. That's because of the style of play that Hansi Flick has with his team. Like, he really does not prioritize defense at all, which is why they look so lackluster in defense when they are having bad games defensively.
I got to ask you this, though. I got to ask you this.
Yeah.
Barcelona, it seems like they lose in such tough fashion year in and year out at the Champions League. I think it's safe to say this is not their competition. They're always going to be in it. They're always going to make a deep push in it. But it seems like for the past, I don't know, 6 or so years, it just has not been their competition. They lose in fashion. Are they cursed? Are the Champions League cursed? My buddy is a huge Barcelona fan, and he says that they're cursed. But what do you think about that?
I don't think so. I don't think they're cursed because they've won, I think, 3 or 4 in the past. And that's,
Yeah,
again,
but I'm
like,
saying like recent time.
no, I don't. I think because last year, too, like they played one of the best Champions League games ever in the semifinal against Inter. Do you remember that game? It was like
Yeah.
7 goals or whatever. But no, I don't. I just think there's things that they need to work out. I think, like, Tottenham are cursed. That is a cursed
Yeah,
team.
but that's how the whole club is
But
cursed.
but they also, if you remember, they were in the Champions League final, what, like 4 or 5 years ago with Pochettino
Oh, yeah,
against.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a team that has reached, although they're not known for making deep runs into the Champions
But
League.
that
There
was a
was one
shocking
year.
run.
Well, okay, like Tottenham. Okay, yeah, great run. They lost in the Champions League final, but bigger sample size. Let's talk. Arsenal. I would give more of a case to them being cursed in terms of a European sense than Barcelona.
Okay, yeah.
I just think the Champions League was run for so many years by Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And when it was for a solid decade stretch, Real Madrid owned the Champions League. And Juventus, they had some great teams as well. Barcelona were competitive, but they just kind of weren't able to get over the hump. PSG, obviously, they brought in Neymar. Eventually, they brought in Messi.
This is the year PSG gets back on top.
I think it could be as well, but I don't think Barcelona's cursed. I just think there's some things they need to work out. I think this game that they played, they dug themselves into a big bad rut, and I don't think they're going to win. And I think Atletico is going to go through, but no, I don't think so. I don't think so. You know what it is, Daniel? You know what it is? They got a huge debt problem, and that debt
Yeah,
problem
that done it. Yeah.
that problem seeps into their forays into the Champions League. So no, curse to me, that's like the Chargers or the Jets. Like that's like for a team to lose The Italian national team, that's cursed right now.
Yes.
That is a cursed team in world football. That is a team that somehow just finds ways to lose. Barcelona, I feel like there are tactical uh, management issues that have caused them to lose more often than not. And then obviously the debt where they're not able to, afford to pay some of the best players in the world. And then they go through these weird sanctions and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, but we got to move on. Next leg starts on Tuesday and Wednesday. Both games are for both days are at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch the second legs of all four matchups. But let's go on to the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm only going to spend a minute on here. They finally snapped their 6-game losing streak after two tough, 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 tough outings against the Los Angeles Dodgers. But then they come out and they beat the Dodgers 4-3 yesterday. Um, they're now 5-7. The bats finally woke up, but is it going to be enough? Tomorrow around this day, Friday, so tonight or today. What time is the game at? Let's check that out actually. Because I'm pretty sure. So yeah, tonight the newly signed Corbin is on the mound against the Twins. The Toronto Blue Jays need to get healthy, and they need to get healthy fast because Corbin on the mound, 7:07 first pitch, and it's George Springer bobble at night. Let's see if the bats come out, and let's see if George Springer's bat comes out tomorrow night. Or I don't know why I keep on saying tomorrow night when it's literally tonight. Tonight on Friday, April 10th. But yeah, the Toronto Blue Jays, hopefully they could finally bounce off of this win. They're 5-7, fourth in the East. Early to tell. I don't think we should be talking about standings until maybe late August or midway through August and September. But in April, talking about standings is crazy. But how their 6-game skid went, looked, it was embarrassing, especially losing 14-2. Max Scherzer, at least he looks healthy. He looks good. He was sipping on a martini or whatever type of drink he was at the Leafs game on Wednesday or on Thursday. So, wait, today's Thursday. On Wednesday, I'm trying to get my dates mixed up when I'm talking about this. But yeah, he was sipping on a drink at the Leafs game. He looks fine. He'll be back. But tomorrow, the Toronto Blue Jays take on the Minnesota Twins for a nice little series in Toronto. Hopefully they can catch another win with Corbin recently signed on the mound. But let's move to another discussion topic, the Dallas Cowboys. So the NFL draft is approaching. It is on April 23rd to the 25th. It's fastly approaching. We like to talk football here. This is kind of a football show mostly, and Champions League show or soccer show, I like to say, because we spent majority of the show talking about Champions League. Now we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. But first, it's just the Dallas Cowboys have the 12th overall pick and the 20th overall pick. And when I say I have zero idea on who they're going to draft, I have zero idea. Like Jermod McCoy, is a possibility. I think that's more of a possibility than anything else because I feel like it's hard for me to believe that Sonny Styles is going to drop. Ruben Bain is going to drop. Caleb Downs is going to drop because I think the farthest he'll reach is to the Bengals, and the Bengals are going to snatch him up. Sonny Styles, I honestly think he's an amazing talent that I think any team. I know there's a lot of teams in the top 10 or the top 15 to be say, or top, yeah, let's go top 10 to say. I know a lot of teams need offensive line help, but if I was a general manager, it goes Mendoza, Avril Reese, David Bailey, but no, I would say Sonny Styles, then David Bailey. I think I like Sonny Styles a lot more than David Bailey. Both terrific athletes, both are going to change an organization on the defensive side of the ball. But for those type of guys to drop down to the Dallas Cowboys, like Mansour Delane from LSU, could drop, but I think Miami Dolphins are going to select him at 11. Like, I think the 12th spot is such a tough selection.
Yeah.
I think if I was Jerry Jones, or if I was the Jones family, I'm finding a way to trade into the top 10 so you can have your pick of any player you want, especially have a chance at either Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles. But yeah, I don't know, and then I think it's gonna go corner. But the one thing that I'm gonna say this here, and I think people are gonna call me crazy for this. McCoy is coming off of a torn ACL. Tennessee player. He's a junior. He's coming off of a torn ACL. He hasn't played football since 2024. He hasn't even practiced or worked out in front of scouts yet, unless I missed him. Maybe he did a pro day, but unless I missed it. And he's projected to go to the Dallas Cowboys on a lot of mock drafts, but those are just mock drafts, predictions. But he is projected to go to the Dallas Cowboys in literally almost every single article I see. If I'm scared of that. I think trust me, his 2024 tape is tremendous. It's awesome. But also, he's coming off of a torn ACL. He hasn't played a snap since his sophomore year of college. And now his next step is going to be in the National Football League. Do not have high praises for him year one. But if he does pull it off and he's terrific coming off of a torn ACL, this kid was just built different. He's built in a lab. He rebuilt that knee in a lab. But there has to be some speculation on why people are going to be a little nervous on drafting him. But if he pans out to be terrific, he pans out to be terrific, and that's the greatest thing of all time. But player that I would feel a lot more comfortable drafting, it would be trading up and going to get, I don't know, like Sonny Styles. I know there's talks, rumors that the Dallas Cowboys might be interested in trading with our Arizona Cardinals at the 3rd overall spot. They take David Bailey there. I'm okay with it. But in my opinion, if I was them, I'd be taking Sonny Styles. I think Sonny Styles is either the best defender in this draft or second best defender, or even he's for sure the 3rd best defender in this draft, actually. Because I think it was Caleb Downs, Avril Reese, and then Sonny Styles. I really like how David Bailey plays, but I think it's very, very hard for the Dallas Cowboys to have a fantastic selection at 12. But because with the injury concern on McCoy, that's it. But if you see Delane from LSU and how he played awesome. He's terrific. If he drops to the Dallas Cowboys will draft him without any concern. Because the Miami Dolphins, the good thing is they have so many holes to fill that they might not even draft him. They're probably going to go out to the offensive line. Let's see what side of the ball they want to build up first. That's what you're going to see in this draft. It's a defensive draft, so I'm going to guess they're going to go Mansour Delane first if he drops there. But it also depends on what teams want. Like, what is the Arizona Cardinals going to do? Are they going to draft offensive line? Or they could surprise the whole draft and pick Ty Simpson 3rd overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Avril Reese, the Jets take someone else over Avril Reese. I'll be stunned at that. The for sure solidified one is Mendoza. And where's Jeremiah Love going to go? A lot of things can shake up. So the Dallas Cowboys, they either just wait and sit and take the best available, or they push, be aggressive, and they go get a game changer on the defensive ball right away. Because I don't think McCoy is going to be a game changer year one, just because his next play of football is going to be in the National Football League when he hasn't played since 2024 and he's coming off an ACL injury. So, I think he's a terrific player no matter what. But coming off of an ACL injury, hasn't played since his sophomore year. Even though it's an amazing tape in 2024, you're going to have to give this kid a lot wiggle room than you would any other first-round draft pick. And now at the 20th pick, they're going to go edge rusher. There's a lot of great edge rushers in this draft. But for the Dallas Cowboys, I really can't put my finger on it that there's going to be a solidified draft pick right now for the Dallas Cowboys, and that's what's going to make this draft so much special. Like, they could even trade away the 12th overall pick, trade down or something. What do you think with the Dallas Cowboys there?
I don't know. I think 12 matters a lot. I think certainly if Delane falls, like that's you scoop up Delane. I have a little bit more faith in McCoy than you do. I still think he'd be a
No,
solid.
I think McCoy's terrific. I just think if you're trying to fix your defense in 1 year, you
Yeah.
have to give McCoy a lot of wiggle room because he's not going to be ready for year one. Like, his last football snap came when he was what 20 years old, 19 years old in college. Came last year, 2024. Like he obviously he's not going to be a superstar right out of the draft. You're going to have to give him a lot more wiggle room than you would any other draft pick just because of the scenario he's coming in with, a torn ACL. Because he's terrific. That 2024 tape of his college season,
Yeah.
like is fantastic. It is so strong and it's beautiful to look at. But I just think that for players and athletes, we've seen it all the time. It takes from an ACL injury, they don't come back just like that. Perfect playing at a high level just like that, especially when you're making the adjustment from college to the NFL, and especially from college on a torn ACL to the NFL. You're gonna have to go through the rusty mode on national television. So a lot of people in the world are gonna bash you, but he gets a little wiggle room. Year two is when he's gonna be terrific again, and if he's not, then they wasted a 12th overall pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like on everything I see, everything I read, even everything I hear, it's expected that they're going to take McCoy.
Yeah.
But I think Jerry is pretty hell bent on winning now because he wants to see the Cowboys win another Super Bowl in his lifetime. And I that's why I wouldn't be totally surprised if they trade up to 3. And if they do trade up to 3 and they can go out and get whoever they want, I think they're going to take David Bailey because I keep seeing and I keep hearing that they have a pretty vested interest in David Bailey, especially since like close proximity, Texas Tech, Dallas, like it's a half decent proximity to each other. So there's the in-state aspect. There's the fact that he was the nation's leader in sacks. I think he had 15 sacks across the entire FBS.
Yeah, he's terrific, but I think Sonny Styles is a more versatile player.
That's what it is. I agree with you. I think he's versatile, but I think the reason why they would take David Bailey as opposed to Sonny Styles is because, like, number one, if they pick Styles, they're gonna have to figure out where they want to play him.
Yeah.
And I think they really want to replace Micah Parsons' production. Jerry will never come out and say he made a mistake.
I know. He'll never say it, but he made a
is.
ginormous mistake on trading away Micah Parsons.
And David Bailey, I think the Cowboys, like the scouting department, or at least some of them, they're looking at him and they see someone who could supplement what Micah Parsons did coming off the D line, like 12, 13 sacks a year.
That's
So
true. I really like that. I like David Bailey too, but I think you'd just feel a lot better having a Swiss Army knife of Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
Just having a Swiss Army knife of him. David Bailey would also be terrific. But like I just think how this draft's gonna go. If the Dallas Cowboys trade up for the 3rd overall pick, I don't even know what they have to give up. They probably have to give up both picks, the 12th and the 20th. But if they can land a day one starter and contribute right away, because think about it, this defense, especially how the offense played last year, if the offense plays the exact same way that they played this past season and the defense just gets maybe like 30% better, the Dallas Cowboys could be a playoff team. No, nowhere near a Super Bowl team. Nowhere near a Super Bowl team. Because that defense is still like, they have so many holes to fill on that defense. But I think with McCoy, if they draft McCoy, I forgot to say this, and Christian Parker, thank God he's he's our he's the Dallas Cowboys new defensive coordinator. And he is known for developing corners and defensive backs. That's what kind of makes it safe. Like, I'd feel okay with it. The Dallas Cowboys are going to draft Jerry McCoy. He's not going to be a day one starter. He's going to be nursing an ACL injury, but it's okay because Christian Parker is going to develop him into be an all-star, to be an all-pro, to be an absolute guy in this league. But if they trade up and get David Bailey, that defensive line looks scary with
Oh
Quinn
yeah.
Williams and Kenny Clark. Um, and then like Overshown's coming back, and he's terrific.
Yeah.
Deron Bland, hopefully he wakes up. Hopefully he's not a one-season wonder. Because if he plays bad this year, that's going to be a ginormous conversation. Is he a
Yeah.
one-season wonder? I think with the Dallas Cowboys in this draft, they have so much leverage with 2 draft picks that their defense is for sure going to be fixed. I wouldn't say right from the get-go, but for the next 2-3 years, they're in the right direction. Especially how strong an defensive draft class this is. Like with the 20th pick, they're probably if they don't draft David Bailey and they draft a corner, they're going to draft probably Folk out of
Auburn.
Auburn.
He's a solid pick.
Solid player with that 20th pick if he's there. This draft, I love seeing a bunch of mock drafts, but have you seen in a lot of mock drafts? And everyone's 3.0 on the NFL networks. It's become it becomes a cluster from pick
Yeah.
from pick 12 to like 25. It becomes
Yeah.
a cluster. No one knows what's gonna happen. No one knows what direction the teams are gonna go in. Maybe like who knows? But the NFL draft April 23rd to the 25th in Pittsburgh. It is gonna be awesome. The Dallas Cowboys, I can't wait to see what they can do. But I think it is safe to say that let's talk about this for a second. I know we only have so much time. We only have a little bit of time and we have one more topic to talk about. But let's talk about this. The Las Vegas Raiders signing Kirk Cousins. I am so happy that they signed Kirk Cousins because with the new head coach, the new coaching staff, and Kubiak, and that front office there in Las Vegas, they're doing one terrific job this offseason. But the one signing of Kirk Cousins, it just shows me that they don't want to rush Mendoza into any NFL action until he's truly ready for the NFL game. And I absolutely love that because I don't know. I think we've had conversations on here that quarterbacks. Like I think a lot of teams depend on their first overall draft pick to start right away, and when they suck, they give up on them real easy. What I love about this is Kirk Cousins can play the first 6 to 8 weeks of the NFL season, and Mendoza has no pressure. He can literally just learn from Kirk Cousins, and if Kirk Cousins is tearing it up somehow, Mendoza doesn't have to play until next season.
Yeah.
This is the best situation. I think my winners of the offseason so far has to be the Las Vegas Raiders. Their signings on defense has been an A+ in my eyes. And then getting Max Crosby back. How luck of the draw on that one. Just A++ all around. And I do like when they brought Linderbaum in to be the brand new center for the Las Vegas Raiders. This team is in a good spot. They're not going to be a playoff team next year. Maybe they will. Who knows? But for sure, a big step in the right direction where we haven't seen them make these type of steps since maybe John Gruden was the head coach there. Yeah,
It's been a while.
and yeah, like a while. I really like that offseason. My offseason winner as of right now, as of April 10th, is the Las Vegas Raiders. And I love how they brought in Jalen Naylor too, as to be the receiver there. Trey Tucker is still there. Trey Tucker's a pretty solid receiver. Jack Beck is still there. Betch, whatever you say his name. They have another receiver that they also have the best tight end in football. They have a fantastic young running back in Ashton Genty. That offensive line got stronger. The defense all around got stronger. And then re-adding in Max Crosby. And then Kirk Cousins is going to be at the helm week 1 most likely. And then Mendoza is going to come in. The Raiders are going to be a terrific team. And they're building for success. And I absolutely love it. They're my winners of the offseason.
I agree. I agree with you. Like then I would say the Chicago Bears as well, because they went out and they got a solid piece from the Super Bowl winning defense of the Seattle Seahawks and Kobe Bryant, the safety. Obviously, they did have to relinquish. Why am I blanking? Oh my gosh. Why am DJ Moore? Excuse
Oh
me.
yeah,
That's
traded DJ
horrible
Moore to
of
the
me.
Buffalo Bills.
Horrible of me. Sorry, but as of right now, I think if you had to put a gun to my head, I would pick the Raiders because of everything that they've done, and like you said, just creating this environment so Mendoza can kind of like slide in, nestle in, and I think, like you said, the most ideal thing is like he doesn't play any football this year, maybe in the preseason a little bit. But if he is able to get a full year of development, and Kirk Cousins is probably the best starting caliber quarterback at this time that can also mentor a young guy, which you can have on your team in this situation. So props to Brady, Spytech, uh, Mark Davis, all the big boys heading up in Las Vegas. You know, they certainly have an intriguing divisional landscape that they're going to be stepping into next year because the Chiefs, we still don't know when Patrick Mahomes will be back. And I'm not saying that the Raiders, given that situation, they're going to compete or anything because I think the Broncos and the Chargers are way better
Yeah,
than
like
both of
I
those
think the
two teams
Raiders.
are.
I think it's safe to say the Raiders get 7-8 wins next year.
The wild card isn't out of the question. That's what
Well,
I'll
yeah.
say.
Also, it just depends though on how the actual new signings perform. But right now on paper,
Yeah.
we're gonna speculate a little bit. Wild card wouldn't be the craziest things, but I'm thinking 7-8 wins for the Las Vegas Raiders. So doable, but let's see what kind of Kirk Cousins they get. You know what I mean? Because like if he's playing real bad and they have to play Mendoza, what I would do though, it doesn't matter how bad Kirk Cousins is playing. You let him play all 17 games, but or maybe put Mendoza in for the last game of the season if you're not making the playoffs. And next year's draft class is terrific on the offensive side of the ball, with headlined by Jeremiah Smith and Arch Manning. Even though they're not going to draft Arch Manning, let's see how Arch Manning does at Texas this year. But imagine they get the first overall pick back-to-back years, and and they get Jeremiah Smith added in there
That'd be
for
insane.
Mendoza with Genti and Bowers. Ooh, oh my gosh, that's just me thinking so ahead. But no, yeah, they're the winners. But we got to move on to our last topic of the day, the UFL. Nick, you watch any of the games? You watch any of the highlights?
Wasn't able to catch up on the games, but you sent me a text today, and you were
Hey,
pretty fired up about the UFL.
hey, it's okay. I love the UFL. I love football, man. I love football. I watch anything I can get if it's football. If it's arena football, if it's the United Football League, if it's the high school football, we call games. We call high school football.
Mhm.
I coach high school football. If it's a CFL, if it's the NFL, if it's college, any football. I'm a big football guy. But let's talk about this. There's a great duo in Dallas, and it's not, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. It is Austin Reed and I had to write down his name. Tyler Vaughns of the Dallas Renegades. Dallas Renegades are 2-0. But let's talk about Austin Reed. You might have heard his name a couple of years ago at Western Kentucky, and he was pretty good in the preseason for the Chicago Bears. Austin Reed, 26-year-old, spent time on the practice roster of the Chicago Bears, and 24, had a pretty good preseason with them. Last year was waived in, I don't know, January. Didn't play any football last year. Comes in, beats out the king of spring, Louis Perez, for the number one quarterback job. First week of the UFL season, dominates the Houston Gamblers. 66% completion rating, 376 yards, 3 touchdown passes, breaking the UFL single game passing record, breaking records right off the jump in the United Football League. And then this week, beating my St. Louis Battlehawks, throwing for 4 more touchdown passes and a 31-15 win. Austin Reed is going to get an NFL look after this season. He's going to sign. He's going to be a quarterback 2 in the National Football League. Mark my words. But let's talk about his number one receiver, Tyler Vaughns, okay? Hear me out here. Tyler Vaughns, he's an XFL champion 2023. He's been with the Dallas Renegades his whole XFL career. They used to be called the Arlington Renegades. Beautiful names. I might be a Renegade fan after this. Tyler Vaughns wrote down his stats week 1, 7 catches, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. Week 2, breakout, 11 catches, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. He has 4 of the 7 touchdown passes this season. Tyler Vaughns leading the whole UFL for touchdown passes and touchdown catches and touchdown and yards and yards and catches and TDs. Tyler Vaughns, Austin Reed, Tyler Vaughns, the best duo in Dallas. Just kidding. It's CeeDee Lamb and Jordan Pickens. But man, they're a close second. Man, I don't know. But their next game is Sunday, April 12th against the Columbus Aviators. Tyler Vaughns also USC. Played college ball at USC. Spent a little time in the NFL for the Colts and Steelers. XFL champion in 2023. Just wanted to, those are my highlights of the week right there. Highlight of the start of the year for the UFL. Tyler Vaughns, Austin Reed, one of the best duo in football right now. Absolutely love it. Those two are going to get an absolute ginormous look at the NFL. Because Tyler Vaughns, 28 years old, he's on the older side for playing spring ball, in my opinion. There's no age limit, but I'm saying this is the league for, one more shot at the NFL. He's for sure earned it. This guy has been terrific in these spring leagues. He might be he had 500 yards last year, 400 yards, and they only play 10 games. So that's pretty terrific. He's already halfway there on his career high in the XFL or in the UFL in his spring league ball with 200 and something yards. How many yards does he have in total? I want to say it's 290 total. I don't know. Someone do the math for me. I'm not really the greatest on math. Yeah, he's 290 yards. I think that's right. Of Austin Reed's 616 passing yards. Those keep your ears out for those names when that season concludes or as the season progresses, because the Dallas Renegades are 2-0 in the UFL. UFL's on fire right now. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. One more piece of knowledge I want to talk about, and I sent you this today. I was going to save it for Sunday's episode because that's your last episode before you take your break, right? Before you got a business trip coming up.
Business trip.
You got a business trip. So Sunday or so Monday's episode is going to be the last you guys see of Nick for, a week or so. But let's talk about this. I know it's a little bit of a longer episode, but it's okay. Brand new football league starting up. I sent you it today. The Continental Football League. I don't know much about it. I'm still in the learning process of it. They have a couple teams. It's based in it's in the States. The American League, the Continental Football League. It's for the fans. It's a fan-owned league. Whatever they're promoting it as. Pretty cool league, their style of play. But the one thing I want to talk about, they have this rule. It's called the Continental Shift. The first 3 quarters is NFL-style rules. The 4th quarter alone goes straight to Canadian football style, Canadian football rules. It is pretty the coolest thing ever. And the reason why they're doing this, all right, the first 3 quarters are American, so NFL rules, and then the 4th quarter just CFL rules, is just because it gives the players a chance to get film at both competitions. So the 4th quarter is going to go to the 3 downs, forward motion, no fair catch, rouge points, yard off the ball, and 3-minute warning just in the 4th quarter alone. I absolutely love this. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to sit here and tell you a lie right here that I'm going to be watching every single game, because I'm not. I don't know much about the league, and especially when I go to the website and it's blanker than ever. So this thing could be an absolute made-up league. I don't know. I don't think it is, but pretty cool concept that they're doing here for the players, and it's going to be happening in the summer. I'm pretty sure it starts in June. Um, I really like the Continental Football League. I still don't know where you can watch it or stream it because I would really like to watch how this thing goes down. You know what I mean? They're playing 11v11 with Canadian rules. I think the CFL is also going to be watching how they run it, how they operate, because this might be the first league in America that's doing Canadian style football in the fourth quarter alone, but with 11v11. And the CFL, they're going to probably look at that and kind of see how it looks at 11-11. Not saying they're going to take the 12th man off the field, but it's not the worst idea. And to see how it operates too in the Continental Football League. Nick, what do you think about that rule before we end it off?
I think it's one of the most interesting rules I've heard in a long time. I just
Right?
love to give players um, the opportunity to get tape on with playing both types of football, because it gives them an opportunity to play in the eyes of not only American but Canadian scouts, because those Canadian scouts will be able to see their experience playing Canadian rules. And I think it's going to be a really immersive and cool way to watch the game. I think for some people it's going to take a little. It's for me, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, because I will have to mentally make a note that, oh yeah, we are switching rules to Canadian rules in the fourth quarter, which I'm going to assume for some guys is going to be a bit of an adjustment, but this is the type of thing that I like to see in a wider scale, because this means the game is growing in a sense, with all these different leagues and then these different iterations of play that we're seeing. The game of football is becoming more and more popular with each coming day. And like you said, with the Continental Football League, I do love the idea of how it gives these players an opportunity to get tape with both sides of the ball. And I think that matters heavily towards growing the game even more.
I think it's safe to say that the Canadian game is here to stay forever. So for the CFL haters, suck it. For the CFL lovers, gotta love it. But yeah, I have 8 teams here for season one. I'm gonna list off the names: Indianapolis Capitals, the Ohio Valley Ironman, the Michigan Arrows, the Cincinnati Dukes. This is a team name and a half. Tall City Black Gold. Okay, ChatGPT for sure did that.
Please.
San Antonio Toros. I don't know what a Toro is. Must be from San Antonio. Fort Worth Braves and the Texas Synodate. I don't know if I'm reading that right. I don't know. I don't know about these names a little bit. I'm gonna go with the Indianapolis Capitals. But another cool thing about this league and what they're doing is, because it's a startup league. It's one of these startup leagues. I'm pretty sure they actually had this league back in the '60s. And they kind of had a structure like this. It's for the players to take a next step. Like, you have the UFL here that are for the players to get back to the NFL, and then you have the CFL here. The CFL is its own game. It's their own pro. It's this, and obviously it's another route to the NFL. They're opening it. It's like, you go play pro. You're going to be in this league for 1 year, and you're going to go play pro somewhere else in that UFL, NFL, or the CFL. Like, they want you to go do that. What I really like about this is it's a local presence. Teams will be partially owned by local fans through teams. Oop, I lost it. Teams funding, WeFunder. I don't know what WeFunder is.
Neither do I.
I got no idea. Teams, coaches, staff live in the city. I think that's just a given. I'm just gonna guess that should just be a given, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teams devoted to being embedded in their local market events. Team locally owned and operated. Okay, I don't know why that's there. I think that's just a given, right? Division games close enough to bust, so there's gonna be no flights. And I think this is a great opportunity. You see startup leagues all the time. And they're putting teams in like Vegas. Like, they're putting teams in these ginormous markets right away. This league is like, this is going to be like AA baseball. We're going to treat this league like AA baseball. And I absolutely am all for it. I don't know where you can watch it. The level of play is also not going to be up to par like you see in the NFL, like you see in the UFL, like you see in the CFL. It's going to be more like, I would like to say you're going to see like kids that are from JUCO are looking for a shot. Maybe kids that are just that weren't starters in college, Division two, FCS. Like I think it's still gonna be awesome. Younger kids for sure. I don't think you're gonna see a 40-year-old trying to make one more splash at football because the pay's for sure not good. I don't even know if it's actually a paid league. I just know it's a pro league, so it has to be paid, right? But yeah, that's the Continental Football League. On this show, I think we've talked about more football leagues than we have talked about anything else.
We talked about a lot today.
The European League of Football, this, the UFL here, the NFL there, and now the Continental Football League. But yeah, I can't wait for that kickoff because I'm not gonna watch every game. I'm probably gonna watch the first game and I'd probably call it. Like I'm gonna be real here. I just want to see how the transition. I might even just not even catch the game. I might just watch the third quarter transition into the fourth quarter. I just want to see how it operates like that. But we got to end this longer episode. Sorry for that. We just wanted to talk ball today. That's
Yeah.
Nick Tazio. I'm Daniel Federico. We'll see you guys again next week. Ciao.
Ciao.